What's up, everybody? So, this is my second time filming this because halfway through I was like, oh, I should probably not use their real names. So, this time I'm going to be telling the story of when I broke my ankle and tore my ACL. So, it was like February, not this February, last February, obviously. Last February, I was at gymnastics practice. I think it was a Friday. Yeah, it was a Friday. And we were doing this meet thing. It was not a meet, it was like a practice meet. So to get ready for the actual meet coming up, to get our routines ready and stuff. So what I did, I was doing my dismount off the balance beam. It's the beam thing that you balance, yeah. So I was doing my dismount off it, and it was a side handstand, like not even that big of a dismount. It was just a side handstand. And the mats were uneven, like one was here and then the other one was like here. Because one floor was like foam floor, the other floor was cement, and I hit like here's me doing my handstand, right? So this is me doing my handstand. When I went to go land on the, yeah, so this is me, right? So I went to go land like that off after I did my handstand, so yeah. And I landed on the edge of the mats, and then I rolled onto my ankle like this, hit the beam support, which is the thing holding up the beam, which is like metal, and fell onto the cement. I don't know if it was shock or if it was me hitting my head on something, but I remember everything just going black, and I don't really remember that much. But when I woke up, I was very confused, and I was thinking, oh, I have to get back up on the beam. I have to get back up on the beam and finish my routine. So I tried to get back up on the beam, but it wasn't like I stood up to get back onto the beam, but I immediately fell down and started bawling because I broke my ankle, obviously, but I didn't know that at the time. I thought, oh, I probably just twisted it or something. But somehow I knew something was wrong because I never felt that kind of pain before. And my coaches, they were like, you've never cried. Everyone was staring at me, first of all. Everyone in the entire gym was staring at me. And then I had two coaches there at practice that day, and they were like, she's never cried like this before at practice. She's never cried before at practice. Something's wrong. So they went to go get Coach, let's just say Coach Cherry. They went to go get her, and she was looking at my ankle. She's like, well, it's not swollen, it's not purple or anything, so maybe just ice it for tonight, and then if something's wrong tomorrow, go to the doctor. So my mom, she piggybacked me right out to the car. My mom was following her, and I was crying all the way home, and then once I got home, I didn't cry anymore. I remember watching The Lion King. We were watching The Lion King, and I was crying because of The Lion King and Mufasa dying. Spoiler alert. Mufasa died, and I was crying because of that, and I forgot about my ankle. And then everyone was like, oh, you should probably try to move it. It's probably just a sprain. You should try to move it and stuff. And everyone was trying to get me to move it and walk on it or put weight on it, and I literally would burst into tears because that's how much it hurt. It hurt so much. And then the next day, well, first of all, I got stuck trying to hop to my room. Luckily, my sister, who hurt her knee before, she had crutches before, so I was using those to get up to my room, but it still hurt because I had to I didn't know how to use crutches. Okay, so I would try to hop, and then I would swing my leg, and it would hurt so much. But when my sister, so I got up to my room, I went to sleep, and I couldn't really sleep that night. I just kept thinking I probably will never go back to gymnastics again. My camera's battery's low. I was thinking I have to go back to practice. I have to go back Tuesday. Because it was Friday and then we had Monday off because it was Martin Luther King. No, it wasn't. It was not Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, it was. Wait, was it? Yeah, it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I was thinking, luckily I don't have school on Monday if I did break something, and I knew something was wrong, but I wasn't sure, because I've sprained my ankle and twisted it millions of times, but I never felt like this, so I was just thinking, yeah, maybe I did break something, but luckily I don't have school Monday. So then, this may sound weird, but the next day, Saturday, we were having a birthday party for my dog, or my sister's friend's dog. Her name's Stella. We were having a party for her, and I was on crutches and had my ankle wrapped the entire time. So there's a bunch of dogs running for this birthday party thing, and I'm just sitting there with my foot up on the couch, just sitting with a bunch of dogs and a bunch of people, and I barely could move. So Sunday we didn't go to church. I went to a doctor, ER place that was only open on Sundays. It wasn't only open on Sundays. Luckily, it was open on a Sunday. So I went there, and they had me x-ray my ankle, and it hurt because they had to push my ankle back. They had to push it forward. They had to twist it on its side, and I'm just sitting there trying not to cry in front of these people. I'm just okay, ow. She's like, yeah, I know it hurts. How did you do this? I'm like, oh, I'm a gymnast, and I fell off the beam and stuff. She's like, oh, okay. So I was sitting in the room for the doctor to come in after I got my x-ray. The doctor came in, and I just remember her going, it's broken. And I was just sitting there confused because I'm like, it's actually broken. Every time I've ever gotten an x-ray before, everyone was like, oh, no, it's just a really bad sprain. It's not that big of a deal. She said it was a clean break, luckily, but they put a splint on me, waiting for me to go to an orthopedic doctor to make sure that it was a clean break and I didn't need it set, and then they'd have to put a cast on me. So they did that. So they put this splint on me, and then Monday, luckily they were open on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so we went to the orthopedic doctor. I had to get new x-rays. They used this knife thing to cut off the splint that was clay, and I got new x-rays. They were like, no, it's a clean break. You broke the tip of your tibia, which is right here. I broke that, and then it was the growth plate of the tibia, which is a big deal because when you're still growing and stuff, the growth plate if it shifts or if it fuses together, you will stop growing in that leg. So they're like, luckily you came in and you didn't fuse it together, and you're still going to grow in that leg, but you have to be under cast for 6 months. and like 6 months. I thought it was 6 weeks, but I was in a cast for 6 months. After 2 months, I would have to go get a new cast, go get more x-rays, and then, yeah. So, no, it was 3 months, after 3 months, because I only had 2 casts. One was blue, one was purple. But they were like, and I kept telling them my knee hurts too. They're like, oh, it's just a side effect of your broken ankle. It'll be fine. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. But I'll get into that in another video. But this was like, because 6 months in a cast, right? That sucked. And then I had like 3 months in a boot. So when they put the cast on, there was this metal thing, and I had to lay my foot at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so I'm in shooting pain, right? And then 90-degree angle. It was not fun. I will put pictures of me getting the cast put on at the end of this video. But it was not fun putting my foot on that thing to do a 90-degree angle. But when we got the x-ray and we got to see it, we were like, where is the break? This is like, where? It was very small, but it hurt very bad, and it was very, why am I sounding like a baby? It was very serious. Like, the tip of the tibia growth plate is very serious. Like, if it fuses together, and it could fuse together at any moment if it broke or something, they would have, like, it would need surgery. I mean, there's nothing really you can do if it fuses together. You're just going to stop growing in that leg and keep growing in this leg. Like, it would just keep growing, and then that one would stop. And I was just like, oh, great, so I'm going to have one shorter leg and one longer leg. But luckily that didn't happen, and my leg is still growing. I am fine in this leg. But in another video, I'll tell you the story of me when I tore my ACL, and that sucked too. So, because they weren't listening to me, yeah, I'll just get into that in another video. If you want more story times, then comment down below. Make sure you subscribe and like this video.